Welcome back to the Vandy Sports Podcast. I'm Joey Dwyer here after Vanderbilt's 82-67 loss to Arizona State. Felt like Vanderbilt needed this one to salvage its 4-day trip to Las Vegas. Instead, it walks off the floor with a long flight ahead of them after an 82-67 loss in which Arizona State held the lead for over 36 minutes. Vanderbilt had it for just a minute 36, and felt like this one really from the 10-minute mark in the first half was Arizona State's. It controlled it, and this is a team that is in the 110s in Ken Palm. Hasn't played overly well throughout the early part of the season, really lacks offensive firepower. It showed it had some offensive firepower against Vanderbilt today. Made 7 first-half threes, and from there, Vanderbilt really had a difficult time. Arizona State didn't look back, and Vanderbilt certainly soul-searching here a little bit on this flight back as it sits in 3-3 with only 3 more opportunities for Power 5 victories on its resume heading into SEC play. Vanderbilt is searching for answers, but if you want your time back, I have an answer for you. I want to shout out our presenting sponsor, The Wash House. Are you dreading laundry day? Is it stealing the time to do the things you truly enjoy? Let the laundry professionals of The Wash House take care of that for you. With 2 convenient locations in the greater Nashville area, just drop off your dirty laundry and our professional attendants can give you back the one thing you can never have enough of, your time. Within 24 hours, you can pick up your nicely folded, fresh and clean laundry ready to be put away. Check out www.washhouseclean.com. Stop in today and get your time back. Felt like Vanderbilt had to get up for this game and come back with some sort of vengeance, and without Ezra Manjon and without Colin Smith in the lineup, felt like Vanderbilt didn't have that boost today. Evan Taylor had a really nice game, 25 points. We'll talk more about him and the way he attacked today, but other than that, not a whole lot of positive signs for Vanderbilt. It rebounded okay. It turned it over and passed a lot. It passed it more, turned it over less than it had previously, but still felt like a disjointed, inconsistent, spotty offense today where there was a lot of iso ball, a lot of ball stopping, not a lot of movement, at least not as much movement as you see from some other teams, including Arizona State, who for probably 5 possessions in a row in the second half got wide open layups, and that kind of tells you what you need to know about the way Vanderbilt defended as well tonight. Arizona State, a team that had really struggled offensively, dang near doubled their points from the first half of last night's game to the first half of tonight's game behind 7 made threes, and it really wasn't just them making out of character threes. You knew the law of averages was going to come back to bite Arizona State, and to an extent it did in the second half, and Arizona State continued to pile on and led by 18 at one point in a game where it was a 1.5 point favorite. Vanderbilt's got to be better than this. Injuries can write off so much. Injuries, I think, are a valid excuse, but at some point excuses have to stop, and Vanderbilt has to find a way to win games, and it's going to win games down the stretch. I mean, it has throughout the entire Jerry Stackhouse tenure, especially in February and March. But you look at this, and you're giving it less of an opportunity than it's going to have if it wins games at this point in the year. Vanderbilt is in a hole now. It has 3 non-conference games against Power 5 opponents left, 2 against more difficult mid-majors. If it loses those 2 and can't get the 3, you're looking at a real uphill climb going into SEC play, and right now you're looking at an uphill climb regardless. Vanderbilt has to be better. It has to find ways to win here, and it feels like, again, the sense of urgency isn't quite there. That's not alluding to the injured guys. Those guys both, I think, would have gone if they could, but you look at a 5-freshman lineup in the first half, you look at Tassos Cometeros not playing until the second half, and you got some real issues here. Vanderbilt has to find ways to find chemistry, and it's difficult when the two of the 3 guys that come off the bench first tonight didn't play the night before. Jerry Stackhouse is still toying with some rotations, and that's fine. It's worked, but Vanderbilt looks out of conjunction. It looks disjointed, and it has a lot to fix. The thing it doesn't have to fix coming out of the night, Evan Taylor had 25 points, went off from a career high, was efficient, was getting to his spots in the mid-range, was attacking, was getting to the free throw line. Evan Taylor did a lot of really good things, and for a guy who got that much flack from the fan base early and was written off by a lot of people, he really performed tonight as guys like Tyron Lawrence and Paul Lewis had off nights. Lawrence, I thought, was better towards the end of the game, but when it mattered early, was really not in a great place in terms of his offensive output. That's going to be better. He's in the second game back from injury, and you can't expect a guy to be on every night. But once you get Ezra Manjon back, maybe that improves, but Evan Taylor showing what he showed tonight, especially without Colin Smith in the lineup, I think is a real positive. But otherwise, again, you look at the turnovers, you look at the rebounding, that's all fine and dandy. But when you're losing the way you're losing to a team like Arizona State, who, by the way, is going to tank Vanderbilt's resume, they're lucky if that becomes a quad 2 game. I don't think that Arizona State team is particularly good. It's going to get Adam Miller back at some point, I would guess, and maybe the Pac-12 isn't as good top to bottom as I think it is. So maybe Arizona State has some opportunities to move up there. But heading into this game, it was 14 spots off from being a quad 2 game. It was a quad 2 game before last night, but got ran off the floor by a good BYU team. And that BYU team shows me some things that Vanderbilt doesn't at this point. They move the ball, they cut, they know how to play with each other, they have continuity, and they know how to win. Vanderbilt doesn't seem to have that at this point in the season. They're 3-3, not much continuity, and a lot of that's not their fault with the injuries and everything, but all those things are kind of reflected in this final score, and I don't think it was a huge talent difference, to be completely honest with you. I think Arizona State has old guys who know how to play, and those guys are not a whole lot better than who Vanderbilt has on the floor, and haven't been better than what Vanderbilt's had on the floor for a lot of the season, but they came ready to play. They came on a mission, and Vanderbilt seemed to come out ready to go home, and I don't think that's an effort thing. I think it's just Vanderbilt got punched in the face early. It got punched in the face down the stretch of the first half, and 11-0 as an Arizona State run put them up as it went into halftime. Vanderbilt couldn't recover from that early in the first half, or early in the second half, and ultimately fell in this one. I just think there's a lot wrong with this offense right now. I think they're stagnant. I don't think they get their feet in the paint enough. It doesn't seem like they have a true post presence. Van Allen Lubin missed a couple easy ones, and he's their best post presence. Lidor didn't even get on the floor tonight, which confuses me a little bit. I don't know if that's a re-aggravation thing, but he was available tonight. Tassos Kamateros didn't get on the floor till, the 8-minute mark in the second half. So there's a lot to unpack here. I think you also have to look at the defensive end, where Vanderbilt let Arizona State shoot it at a rate that it hasn't shot it really all year. 51% from the field, 45% from three, and that included 10 made threes. Not a whole lot of turnovers by a team that has historically shot it very poorly this season. It shot 36% coming into the game, 24% from three coming into the game, and it has an out-of-body experience like that tonight. And it wasn't just the guy who came in as a 23% career shooter knocking down shots. At some point, it can't just be Vanderbilt getting unlucky with those type of things. It is sometimes. I think a lot of those were contested. At some point, there's got to be a look in the mirror and people saying, well, why is this guy taking a step on us and having an incredible outing against us? I don't think it's only because of luck. I don't think it's only because of Memorial Gym or whatever. I think there's a lot of factors there Vanderbilt has to look into. It's not a cursed gym where guys just all of a sudden break out. There's got to be a rhyme or reason to it, and it feels like Vanderbilt, I think, was late on some of its rotations, miscommunicated a few times on the defensive end, and didn't defend the ball screen particularly well at times. You saw Frankie Collins and some of Arizona State's other guards. I think Kamari Lands got one or two here or there where it was wide open layup, and then there was a few possessions later where Vanderbilt was late on a rotation and wide open layup for one of Arizona State's big guys. Hard to win like that. When you don't have Ezra Manjon, you don't have Colin Smith, you got to make up for it on the defensive end. Vanderbilt didn't do that today, and it's going to be really difficult to win the way they're playing right now. If you look for hope, you say you're only 6 games in, and you have Ezra Manjon potentially coming back on Wednesday. Maybe Colin Smith gets cleared, maybe not Wednesday, but somewhere around there, a little bit after that, I would guess. And maybe you got something once you get all 5 guys back. Injuries have really hampered this team. What I would caution you against is saying everything's going to be fine when that happens, though, because their numbers are just so low, and it's going to be difficult to get those up. I'm curious to see what it'll be in the morning, but right now Vanderbilt not in a great spot in the numbers and the algorithms, and it's going to be tough to make up for that moving forward. But the bright side, like I said, you're going to get all your guys back. You looked last night, felt like they finally had some semblance of a rhythm, and maybe they're just toying with things and they're going to get better as the season goes on if history is any indicator. But right now, you got to call it like it is. Not pretty as Vanderbilt gets blown out by Arizona State. Thank you guys for watching our coverage these last 2 days. I'll be at Neyland Stadium tomorrow to watch Vanderbilt play against Tennessee, and we'll have some coverage there as well. Thank you guys for watching, and God bless. See you tomorrow for either last-minute thoughts, depending on how early I can get there, or the post-game show after the game. Thank you guys for watching again. God bless. and we'll be back at Memorial on Wednesday, potentially a stack availability on Monday as well. So again, God bless. Happy Thanksgiving. Peace.